So when we take the record of votes and proceedings, instead of the Minister for Foreign Affairs, we'll have the Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. And then after his questions, we'll suspend the sittings till 12 o'clock. We will reconvene to finish the day's business. Thank you. And on that note, Clerk, you can call the Minister for Higher Education.
Records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13th March 2018.
Thank you. Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, the 13th of March 2018 is before us for consideration and adoption. Can someone please move that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Tuesday, 13th of March 2018 be considered and adopted? The Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. I rise to move the record of votes and proceeding of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 13 March 2018 be considered and adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder? Yes, Jara Central. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma, for giving me the floor. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, the 13th of March 2018 be adopted. Any issues, observations, or amendments of the records from honorable members? Yes, honorable member for Kantora. Let's start with page 1. Any amendment on page 1? No? Then we move to page 2. Anything on page 2? No? Page 3?
Yes, madam. Just, yeah.
Page 3?
3, yes.
Yes, please, Kantora.
Yeah. A minor change in my name was spelled wrongly. Instead of Billy, it's spelled Billy. No. The records of vote, Honorable Billy G. Tunkara, the Billy, I move a motion that record of vote and proceeding of Monday, 12. Billy, yes.
Thank you.
The A should be there. There's no A.
Yes, it's been captured. Thank you.
Okay. And similarly on page 5 as well.
On page?
5.
Page 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hold on to it? Let's get to page 4. Page 4? Yes, Lower Foladu.
Page 4, number 3,
Page 4,
the last
yes.
paragraph.
The third paragraph?
The last paragraph,
The
where you
last
have,
paragraph.
yes, Honorable Seni Toure, member for Jara East, seconded the motion, not the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Cantor, 4. Is it 4, Honorable? Page 5, okay. Let me get Honorable
Yes.
Cantora's
Yes.
amendment on 5.
It is the same wrong spelling, and also the last line again, the same wrong spelling as well.
Yeah, it's captured.
Thank you.
Yes. Talindi?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Page 5.
Still on page 5.
Yes, page 5, number 5. Fatoumata Njai is Banjul South, not Banjul Central.
Yes, it's, yeah, Banjul South. Thank you. Woolly, what was it? Woolly West? Sorry, East?
Well, I was looking at the, say, in page 4.
Page 4.
Yes, page 4. Immediately before the names, you have ensuing of debate. In some places, they will say ensuing debate. Other places, they will say ensuing of debate. If we can be consistent.
Thank you.
Ensuing debate, huh?
Thank you. Can we proceed to page 6 then? Page 7. Yes, page 6, Banjul South. Can you use your microphone, please? Thank
I'm
you.
again referred to as Banjul Central instead of Banjul South.
Any more on page 6? No? Page 7 then? Page 8. Yes, Woolly East.
Is middle page motion to withdraw the report until further notice. The first sentence, after a brief clarifications, we just say after brief clarifications, if we want to use the S.
Okay, after brief clarifications. Yes, I've seen it now. Yes, I have got it. Thank you. Yes, Nyamina East.
If my memory could serve me well, where we have...
Can you refer to the page, please?
Page 8.
Page 8 still.
Yes. The first paragraph where we have Honorable Usman Silla, member for Banjul North, report of the Gambian delegation to the 13th session of the Parliamentary Union of the Organization of Islamic Conference. This was supposed to be reported by the Deputy Speaker. So I think there is need for that to reflect him reporting this on behalf of the Deputy Speaker. Then he was on stage, that's why he reported on his behalf.
Of the chairperson of the delegation.
There is need for that to reflect on this. Because in the other paper, that's what was written there.
Tabled the report to Honorable Usman Silla, and it was Honorable Usman Silla who actually tabled it. Yes, I think we are in order. I stand to be corrected, but I think we're in order.
What I am saying, the delegation has to reflect on the report so that those who were unfortunate to be here, because in the other paper, this is what was indicated.
I don't think yesterday's order paper indicated
that the Deputy Speaker was supposed to give the report. Yes, it has to. This should be.
Should it be really an issue? I don't think it should be an issue. They are all members of the delegation, you know, and since he was on the chair, obviously he cannot sit on the chair and table a report. Yeah, but it's really, it doesn't go to any fundamental issue. Really, it doesn't go. Thank you. Page 9. Okay, Lower Nyomi. Sorry, Lower Nyomi, yes.
Let me refer the body to page 8.
Page 8?
The first paragraph on the motion to withdraw the report until further notice. The last line, if I can read to save you the sweat of that long, cannot be considered by the Assembly due to a missing document referred to in the report. 2 is missing.
I always warn the table office that we have teachers here, so they should be careful with their grammar. Thank you. We'll take notes. Thank you very much. Any more on page 9?
Yes, those in favor say aye. Those is missing again, not in favor, please say yes.
Yes,
thank you.
Also notices those in favor. The those is missing. We're done with it. Any more? Any afterthoughts? No? It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, the 13th of March, 2018 be adopted with the amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Now, Clerk, we may proceed with the amendments as earlier
Questions
indicated.
for oral answers by the Honorable Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology.
Facing lawmakers for the third time since the opening of the National Assembly sittings, the Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Honorable Badara Diouf, for questions and answer session. Deputies raised issues of concern to the two honorable ministers under their ministries.
Thank you. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology by honorable members for oral reply. Question number 011 of 2018 by the honorable member for Woolly West. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology tell this August Assembly how many Gambians are currently on scholarship at the University of the Gambia, UTG, and how many of them are female?
The number of Gambians currently on scholarship at the University of the Gambia, UTG, disaggregated by gender is 1,840, of whom 579 are female and 1,261 are male.
Thank you. Any something? Yes, Woolly West.
Yes, could the Honorable Minister explain why
The gap is so wide between 579 and 1,200. Is it that because the girls' role in the university is low?
Well, I think there are many variables to this. The university accepts people on merit. That's number one. I'm not doubting the performance of girls. But also it depends on what the transition from basic and secondary education to higher education. If the enrollment rate of girls is very low at the secondary level, naturally it has that contagion effect when it comes to us at the university. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, can you please let us know the number? Thank you. I was asking the number of girls currently at the university and the number of males currently at the university for us to understand this gap. I just want to know the exact number.
Sorry, the numbers?
Yes.
Yeah,
not those on scholarship, the general figure of the number of girls in the university presently and the number of...
The total enrollment?
The total enrollment.
What this,
Yes.
I think that would be a new element because that should take into consideration the people who are self-paying. You know, because these are only the people on scholarship. Others are being, they pay for themselves or their parents are paying for them. So those who are not on scholarships, I don't have the number there because the question didn't ask that. So that's a new element. And if you put it in as a question next time, I will be able to answer that. Because then I'll be able to give you the statistics.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Can the Honorable Minister kindly tell us, because like the Honorable Member said, the gap is really wide, and we all know the performance of girls in this country. It way exceeds the performance of boys. How and what is the criteria? How do you base your selection on this scholarship for this wide gap to exist? Thank you.
Well, the criteria for selection is one must have 5 credits. That's number one, including compulsorily maths and English, and the subject area in which you want to specialize. So that's the selection criteria. As to why it is still
low for girls, as I said, there are many factors that could explain it, you know.
Would it be correct to say science is also a criteria? Those who are, you are giving more scholarships to those who are scientifically bent than those who are art-like. Is it not so?
Yeah, when I came into office, I said that I want to have 65% policy turnaround on in the STEM areas: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. So yes, we do give priority to those people doing the sciences. There are priorities, certain priorities, as per our development needs.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Could the Honorable Minister tell this August Assembly what the Ministry is trying to do to those students who were given scholarship to Gambia University, completed, and refused to serve the government?
I am not sure whether I could be categorical about that. We did not do a tracer study to index those people who refused, that's the operative word, to serve the government. But I think if it is not a government scholarship, but they are funded by different agencies, you know, I think maybe they should go into some bonding with them, because not everybody at the university is sponsored by government and should serve government. Others are sponsored by different agencies, and maybe the agencies would also could bond them to serve them.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could the Honorable Minister inform the August gathering whether affirmative action could be taken to give scholarship to more women in the Gambia? The second question is, do you have any plan, your ministry, to provide more scholarships to the graduating students from the senior secondary school? Because most students are now graduating and they are all hoping to get into the university, and scholarship is a challenge. Whether you have any plan for that? Thank you.
In academia, affirmative action does not apply. It's excellence and quality. So people who, fulfill the quality, you know, definitely have the right qualifications will be admitted. It's not discriminatory. It's not gender-based. This is excellence and quality-based. On the second part of it, all are the budgets of the Gambia for the university. We will take as many as possible within the limits of the budget, because I'm sure if we bust the budget, we'll also have to explain to the National Assembly why. So maybe, when it comes to the appropriation bill, the National Assembly will give us more money so that we can give more students more scholarships. Thank you.
Honourable Speaker, I want to ask the Honourable Minister about the status of students going for French. They are not covered by the government scholarship. If the minister wants me also to go into detail, I can do so. But I just want to know whether there's in your plan to cover French students doing their degrees in French.
Yes, we do give scholarships to students doing French, but as I said, the emphasis is on the STEM area.
Whether you have any initiative in place or considering any initiative regarding the motivation of girls to improve their performance so as to augment their enrollment rates for scholarships?
Well, the only incentive we have is that when we screen them in terms of the criteria, and they are almost at the same level, we would give preference to the female applicants. But I think the motivation should start from the basic and secondary level to feed us.
Madam Speaker, could the Honourable Minister please inform us about the current status of scholarship for students at the university? Because since the coming of this new government, many students are mourning that this new government is not coming up with scholarship because they have been applying since 2016, 2017, now 2018. scholarship is being awarded to them. Can you please inform about the current status of scholarships?
I think we have been giving scholarships, but the number of scholarships is budget determined. That should be understood and appreciated. What government gives us is what we prorate relative to the different fields of academic pursuit. So I think I would just beg to differ with the member that we do give scholarships, but perhaps not in the number of quantities that you people want, because it's money determined. If you don't have the resources, we can't. Thank you.
In as much as it deals with scholarship, it cannot be open-ended. Some of the statistics may not be available offhand, and since there was no prior notice of that, it may be difficult for the Honorable Minister to answer certain specific questions unrelated to the original. Please, let us do this.
Honorable Minister, you realize that you have a certain number of students that are self-sponsored, and then here and there they find it difficult to pay their tuition fee. Whether is there any arrangement between the university and the students? And then anytime they fail in paying their tuition fees, they are denied their exam. And then that really is a big setback for the students. Is there any arrangement to allow them to write their exam and then they have a payment plan later?
I think that is way off tangent, really. So, Birkama South, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I just want to inquire whether the statistic given in your response, whether all these are government sponsors. If not, can you tell us how many are government sponsors and non-government sponsors?
Okay, I'll just attempt the first part of the question. Some are sponsored by government through our normal scholarships. Others are sponsored by different agencies like Social Security, NAWEC, GAMTEL, Nadia, Humanity First, the Central Bank and others do that.
Thank you.
But I cannot give you the exact statistics. Thanks.
Thank you. Nominated member, Honorable Samusa, please can we have the mic around the same place?
Yeah, thank you. Honorable
Yes,
Speaker.
go ahead.
Could Honorable Minister outline this, the question of compulsory, maths being a compulsory subject, English and maths compulsory subjects, regardless of, having, 5 credits. Without any of these, you cannot be, what are the rationale behind?
Well, this is, this is aligned with international best practice. Almost in any university you go to the world, maths and English are compulsory. In fact, we did only one exception, and that is those who are doing development studies. That's where maths is not compulsory, but English is compulsory because it's the medium of instruction. So you really have to credit English, because whatever you do, whether it's the sciences or the social sciences or the arts, you do it in English. So English, the proficiency in English is important for us. For maths, it is only for development studies. Other than that, it is compulsory, particularly when we're talking about a policy turnaround of 65% in the STEM area. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Honorable Minister, what about those doing laws, those going to law school, who specialize in law? Because, no, not necessarily, I'm just asking.
Well, I mean, you would understand that law has different facets. There's corporate law, there's criminal law. I mean, there are all kinds of things, and sometimes lawyers need to understand the computation of the corporate companies that they are representing. So the basic thing in maths, the basics in maths is a requirement.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister. I'm going by the numbers he has shown about the scholarships
that were given out by the government of the Gambia, which I think is worth commending. My question is, would the government consider having a full-fledged scholarship for the entire University of the Gambia, knowing specifically the area like STEM that we are actually trying to improve? I know it's something that may be difficult, but would the government consider in the long term where the STEM students would actually be given full scholarships, just to ensure that we are able to meet the demands of our dear nation?
Well, I mean, the current scholarship program is full. You know, it's not, we don't give half scholarships. When we give you scholarship, we give you scholarship. It's a full package, and it's all the way towards the end of up to the end of your period of study.
Very much, Mr. Speaker. My question has been asked by the member for Commerce House. However, I have an additional question. Whether the former president is sponsoring any of these students?
Combo East, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to ask the Honorable Minister whether those who are accredited to the scholarship package, whether the Islamic students are also part of it. Thank you.
If you mean those who are studying, doing Islamic studies, yes, but they are very, very few.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to ask the Honorable Minister whether he is aware of a student who came from my constituency. He just went to Kenya for a competition of science and mathematics, and he became the best student, overall student, of the best student among the competitors. So I don't know whether you are aware of the student and whether you have made any provision for a scholarship for him.
No, I'm not aware of that. And Gambia government does not sponsor people outside UTG, even though he's from the same constituency as I am, because I'm also from Nyani.
Thank you. You have another
yes,
one.
still to continue this, same student, he was even taken to the president. And the president has already, according to him, he has already awarded him almost an amount of 35,000, of which he didn't still receive. He's administered high school. So,
Honorable, sorry, in all fairness, I don't think that's a proper question. Relate the questions, the supplementary questions, to the original question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question has been addressed by the minister. Somebody asked and then it was answered.
Sorry, I missed your question.
Yeah, I said my question has been addressed by the minister.
Oh, it has been addressed. Thank you very much.
My question also has been addressed by the Honorable Member for Upper Saru. Thank you.
Upon you, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Minister, you made mention in your answer that the total number of students under the scholarship is 1,840. My question is, how much of these are pre-service and in-service students? Thank you.
In the university, we don't have pre-service and in-service. If it is maybe Gambia College, yes, where you're talking about teachers, then you have the pre-service and in-service. But at the university, there's nothing like pre-service or in-service, unless I'm misunderstanding the meanings of those two.
Thank you very much, Ma, for giving me the floor. Could the Honorable Minister explain, because there are some people, especially those that are offered the scholarship, that some of them are not getting their allowance. Are you aware? Or if you are not aware, are you taking note? Then secondly, what mechanisms are put in place? Because the margin of those that are offered scholarship, girls, and the and boys is a bit is big. So are you putting any mechanisms to make sure that, well, you just motivate the girls to be there because we are gender activists? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I think the latter part of the question I did explain on 2 occasions or 3 occasions. In terms of those people who are not receiving their allowances, I am definitely not aware of that, and no report came to my desk on that. But I will find out and then see if that is the case, then we'll address it as appropriate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable nominated member.
Thank you. Still on the merging between the boys and the girls. The reason why I asked the first question is the total number of entrants in the university directly affects this number. And you said something very important, that the scholarship is based on merit, it's an excellence base. And from what I know is the same criteria for the scholarship, is the same criteria for the entrance into the university. Because to enter the university in Gambia, you need to have flat basic credit in maths and English. So I think it's really important that we know the total number of entrants in this university to be able to know what, because if there are only 600 females in the university and 579 are given scholarship, that's great. But if there are 3,000 females and 579 is given scholarship, when it is on the same criteria of entrance, the same criteria of scholarship, then there is a problem. I think we really need to know this figure to understand this part. Thank you.
Well, the figure that you're talking about goes beyond the Gambians, because the question is specific to Gambians on scholarship. And as I said, before we give you scholarship, you must have admission. It's admission-based. And the ministry does not influence admission at the university. The university has its own criteria, and we know that maths and English are compulsory, except, as I said, for development studies. So if you get your admission, you come to us, then we look at the area of study, and then on the basis of the priorities set, we award the scholarships.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is, there are many students that are applying for scholarships outside the Gambia. Whether the Ministry of Education, Higher Education, have a role to play, and what role do you play in helping such students to acquire scholarships? Thank you.
Although it's a new element, but I'll volunteer the answer. One, if people have scholarships outside the jurisdiction of those whom we have bilateral relations with, we take the admission and write to the government of that, especially through their embassies, and say that this is a student, maybe if he's in Ukraine, we normally have people in Ukraine for that kind of thing, or Belarus or Russia. We tell them that this is it, and they are continuing students, can you help them? And if they are in government universities of those countries, the embassies do help. But if they are in private universities of those countries, then the embassy would normally say that this is a private university, and it's our government policy that we don't fund foreign students to those private universities. So that's number one. The second bit is those that we have relations with and offer scholarships. Like just last week, we concluded the Chinese scholarships. You have the Indians or Nigeria, or Malaysia, Then we just do the normal advertisement. People who fulfill the criteria are selected, and the shortlist is sent to those countries via their embassies. And normally they give priority to people who already have admission.
Can we move on to the next question, please?
Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology tell this August Assembly if there is any particular program for upgrading those lecturers at the UTJ who are aspiring to do their terminal degrees?
Honorable Speaker, yes, there is a program for upgrading UTG lecturers aspiring to do their terminal degrees. Just before I go to the second part of the answer, I tried to reach the honorable member to understand the term or the terminology, terminal degrees. So When I couldn't, so we said, okay, we will look at the masters and the PhD as terminal degrees. And this is how we based our answer. From 2016 to date, 109 have been sent for training, 66 of whom are doing the master's program and 43 are doing the PhD program.
Yes, I think terminal degree is very clear. Master's is pre-terminal degree. Master's leads you to a terminal degree in some universities. And when I say terminal, I mean PhD, what you have mentioned here. That's what I consider to be a terminal degree. The numbers are very significant. Are you engaged in some sort of bonding with these people? Because the numbers are...
Sorry?
Are you engaged in some sort of bonding with these people? So they make sure that they serve this country for a period before they can go anywhere else.
Yeah. They are bonded given the number of years they are trained for, particularly as you said, the PhD.
Thank you. Any supplementary question? Yes, Basse.
Thank you. Madam, mine might be a statement. At the end, it will be a question. It's a concern to all of us. We're talking about university. This is the Act, University Act 1999. And one of the principles of the university is to provide quality in content and delivery. Since 1999 up to 2016, if I can read, meaning that this number 109 were on bachelor's degree and lecturers at the university. Because if I understand from the answer, the minister said from 2016 to date, 109 have been sent for training, 66 of whom are master's program and 43 are doing PhD. So prior to 2016, from 1999 to 2016, we can assume from the answer that lecturers, or this number of lecturers who are now being upgraded are on a bachelor's degree. So how can a bachelor's degree holder lecture at a university? I think this is something interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, I think the premise is a little bit suspect because there were people who have their masters and PhDs lecturing. We are just saying that from 2016 we sent people to do masters and PhDs, but that does not preclude the fact that before 2016 there were no PhD or masters lecturers at the university. No, it doesn't mean that.
Honourable Speaker, may I clarify my concern, please?
Yes.
I'm not saying, Honourable Minister, for your information, I did my bachelor at the university, and I'm currently doing my master's at the university. I know the history of the university. I'm not saying what you say. I said, from your answer, his concern is about the lecturers, upgrading the lecturers. And the answer you provided, 109, to me, you are still referring to those lecturers, meaning that 109 lecturers in the University of the Gambia, we are lecturing, with bachelor's degree. That is my concern. I'm not saying whether there is no PhD holders or there is no master's degree holders. That's not my concern, please.
Well, let me beg to differ. Those who were going to do or who are doing their PhD did not necessarily mean that they have a bachelor's. The assumption is that they already have their master's and they are proceeding to their PhD. So it doesn't mean that out of the 109, all of them were bachelor's holders. No. Of the 66 who are doing the master's have the bachelor's degree. But then you also have to understand that at the university there are differential levels of lecturing. You have the lecturer, the assistant lecturer, the senior lecturer, the assistant professor, and so on and so forth. One of my lecturers when I was doing my master's was a bachelor's holder from Cambridge.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Nominated Member Yakumba.
Thank you. I think the question the Honorable Member for Basse is asking is the actual criteria to be a lecturer in the university. Is it possible for a bachelor's, you just confirmed anyway, that the bachelor's degree holder can actually lecture in the University of the Gambia? Is that a good criteria? Shouldn't we just put the level a bit higher to master's degree, at least have a master's degree before you can lecture, whether it is assistant lecturer or a professor?
Well, let me answer the question in two ways. One is that it depends on the university he is from and the subject area that he is teaching, if that is the case, you know. If he has a master's in physics, let's say from the University of Legon, and he's lecturing fourth year people in physics, I don't think that's bad, especially if he has the prospect of also training him further. So that's one possibility. The other thing that the ministry cognizance of is the upgrading, the improvement of quality at the university. And under this is new information, AS3 program, we are doing a course audit, an HR audit, and an institutional audit of all the institutions under the ministry, the university, GTTI, Gambia College, and so on, with a view to having a profile of the institution, the strength of the institutions, both academically and institutionally, with a view to improving them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for those questions, sorry, the answers provided to the questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
You may now,
okay.
You're now released. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As I indicated earlier on, I would like to suspend the sitting till 12 o'clock. In fact, the time has gone. It's only for 45 minutes, and then we reconvene in 45 minutes' time to continue with the session. So we stand suspended till 12 o'clock. Thank you. And I refer to the relevant standing order. I think it's clause 9. Thank you.